Fantastic. I have the pleasure of introducing two highly talented individuals. Everyone put your hands together for Rhiannon Fish and Isaiah Washington.
Hello. Hi, guys. Thanks for having us.
Aloha.
It's a beautiful group of people out here today.
I see.
Let's open things up. So this series was based on a book series, loosely. I'm curious, when you guys come into roles in any series or film, do you like to know as much as possible, or do you like to wait and sort of craft the character with your directors and writers?
Well, I had heard that this series in particular was very loosely based on the book. So I chose not to read it. I don't even know if my character existed in the book, so I didn't. Isaiah, did you read it?
No, I did not. I purposely did not, and I think to the chagrin of Jason, I never wanted to know what he was planning for my character of the show for a long time, because in the beginning it was so new, refreshing. The writing was just different. I thought we had an opportunity to put something out there in the sci-fi world that had never been seen before. So I wanted to remain pretty much like an audience member and be in that discovery moment just like the audience would be. So it was one of the first times in a long time that I didn't really know what was happening.
The series, so much work goes into it. Nobody knows you guys are having 18-hour days. And in terms of the directing, no one director can shoot the whole season, so you have a lot of people coming in and out. Dean White directed a ton of episodes, more than anybody else. Can you talk about working with Dean and sort of how you get comfortable over time seeing the same faces on the series?
Well, Dean, he was there from the beginning, producer, and, he was just one of many of the directors. Obviously, because he was there from the beginning, he got the opportunity to the lion's share of, say, the premiere, and usually he was the guy that directed the finales. But you have some really wonderful directors in between. I don't want to start naming them all, because when you start naming one or two, then you're leaving, other fantastic talents out. But I have to go on record and say PJ Pesci was probably one of the ones that really gave us the look and the tone of the show that I'm most proud of, particularly starting with season 2, when Jaha really started to branch out into the desert looking for the city of light. That is when the show really started taking off for me. And a lot of that look and lenses, I have to say, was I got to give the credit to PJ. Now, Dean took over from there, but I got to give credit where credit due. PJ created that look and that tone, and that felt really good at that time.
Yeah, the season that I did, they had some really good female directors as well,
which
I always really enjoy working with.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned season 2. One of my favorite scenes in the whole season was when you do the space jump with the cracked helmet. Can you talk about sort of what are your actual surroundings when you're on set, and how much of that is getting stenciled in with CGI?
Well, that was tricky. Marshall Virtue, the stunt coordinator on there, and all the producers, they didn't want me to do that stunt at all. I think they thought I was too old. I don't think I was too old for it. I just think at the time I was just too fat. I look at the earlier seasons and I'm like, what the hell was I going through, man? I look more like Jabba the Jaha. There's like none of you fans on Twitter are saying, yo, Isaiah, there's a gym in the hotel, bro. Like you need to back off the protein. So thank you for that. But yeah, I think I almost broke the rope when they snatched me out of the thing with the baby. You talking about that scene?
Yes.
Yeah, then after that, they just sat me in a dark room, and let me react to a cracked helmet. So that was, a lesson in acting. I had to sit surrounded in green screen and just listen to the director give me cues of what to respond to, which is not really easy to do, It's kind of like, I understand what Will Smith says. Years ago, I didn't get it then, but I get it now. is there's a power in green screen because that's where all the creativity comes out, all the super stuff comes out of that. So yeah, my goal now is to, wherever I want to work, I want to make sure there's some green screen around.
Can you talk, both of you, can you talk a bit about your approach when you're in a scene solo and it's all about you? The weight of, the performance, no one else bears that responsibility. And then when you're interacting with other actors, how is the approach different going into a day if you know you're going to be, in a space capsule for 4 hours, or if you're in a talking head scene?
You did a lot by yourself, right? In season, when you're in the space?
Yeah, it's not easy, Tom Hanks acting with a volleyball, you think it's easy. It's not. Because you think, I thought sometimes I was a pretty good actor, but you really find out how good you are when you don't have anything to react to other than the lens of that camera. And it takes, for me, a more deep down focus, because I still got to nail whatever I got to nail by myself. So it's a more of a challenge, but that's the importance of a director, of a wonderful director, which we all had at that time. It's really up to the director and the DP to help you through that, so you can figure out what X you're looking at on the camera or whatever, if you're looking at anything, so you don't look into the lens of the camera, because you're not looking at anyone else. So it's a bit of a challenge, but it's a good challenge.
The character of Antari, when you're playing her, you said she had a great sense of loyalty, which you appreciate. I'm curious, given the current political environment at times,
no.
Yes, do you think strong loyalty is good, or do you think we should value more critical thinkers in general?
I think loyalty, particularly when family is involved, which is what her loyalty was to. Yes, I understand that as a viewer, it seemed like her loyalty laid in the wrong place. But to her, and to also, in real life, I think the family is the most important thing in the world. And as long as you remain loyal to your family, I do think that's very important.
Well said. When you were working on the series, is there one actor or character that you maybe wished you had more scenes with?
Murphy. Anytime I go to these conventions, I'm like, I love Richard Harmon. He's the best.
He is.
Such a pleasure to be around as a person, and then also as an actor. Like, he's phenomenal. I couldn't have had enough scenes with him.
And Isaiah, same answer?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The funny thing about Richard is he was just a glorified extra.
What?
In the first season. No one was really checking for him. And I looked at him in one of the earlier episodes, and I looked at his profile, and I'm a bit of a collector, and I look at this kind of Roman coin that I've collected, and he looked like the profile of a young Roman, emperor. To me, he had a classic look, classic face that could morph into anything, right? So Jason was a little taken aback. He may change his story on Twitter lately, but the truth is, I asked to work with Richard Harmon. He asked me, who do I want to work with season 2? And hands down, no disrespect to anyone else, I said, I want to work with that guy who's playing Murphy. And his response was like, Richard Harmon? He says he's in a smaller role. I said, nope. This guy's going to be a huge star, because it's very difficult. People have no idea how difficult it is to give credibility to play a so-called villain and be committed to that. When everybody in Hollywood wants to play roles where they can be loved and be liked. So I will always gravitate to the underdog that has the fearlessness to be able to do that and commit to it and give them a chance to maybe go in a different direction. And that's exactly what happened with Richard's character as Murphy from season 2 on. He's now basically considered one of the heroes of the show. So, yeah, I had a little bit of something to do with that.
Nice.
Let's give a big hand for that. That's great.
Yeah.
It's interesting. In today's time, Tom Cruise is very heralded for doing his own stunts on Mission Impossible, and then it's not just action that you do use your body, like Rami Malek for the new Queen movie. He had a movement coach
Yeah.
Talk about crafting your performances and how that sort of helps inform the character.
I found personally that the costume helped. They have such a strong costume department, and when they put you in that gear, and it's heavy stuff, and they give you the props as well, so you have swords and guns and whatever, you feel automatically it helps you get into that sort of character. That's what I found.
No, I agree. Most actors work from the outside in. I tend to work from the outside in. What I mean by that is that my wardrobe or whatever I'm wearing informs how I'm going to convey the ideas and feelings and tone of the character. But Rhiannon is absolutely correct. We've had extraordinary vision from the wardrobe department that also is very much part of a character in the show as well. So yeah, what I wore definitely helped inform me greatly. Even though I try to work intrinsically and be prepared from the inside out, but on this particular show, I got a chance to work from the inside out and from the outside in and be totally okay with who Jaha or Chancellor Jaha was supposed to be in any given moment in time of the world of the play.
Were there any times in any of the seasons where something wasn't quite working on set and then you guys discovered something either about the characters or about the way to shoot it that really enhanced it?
No, you know, I don't know what you know about Vancouver during the winter, but there's something about the GRVD being in the rain and cold in Vancouver. There's something about the mist that just goes through your bones. Like I stopped after living there 6 months out of the year. After living there for about I just stopped using the umbrella. I would just get my rubbers and just walk through it like everybody else in Vancouver, because this idea, it doesn't rain in Vancouver. It's a chilly, like, Canadian mist, ocean spray that's cold. And I see some Vancouver people walking around in t-shirts and sneakers and no umbrellas. So I was like, well, if it's good enough for them, I guess it's good enough for me. So I think the weather for me, working at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning during the winter months when it's cold and wet, there's nothing worse than being wet and cold. If you're in the snow and cold, that's one thing, but being wet and cold, it's a different kind of cold. So that's the thing that I remember that was the biggest challenge for me.
Your character has a pretty incredible death scene, and I'm wondering the approach to that. His thoughts go to his wife. To get there emotionally, what is that process for you?
Well, that was a tough one. I never thought I would be on a show, personally, where I felt like, I think I've done everything I need to do. I've heard about people saying that. I've heard about people going, oh, I just put myself out of a job. Yeah, cool. That wasn't the idea. I wasn't being selfish that way. I just felt like it was time for Jaha to move out of the way kind of thing. And the best way for him to do that was to come to terms with all the things that he had to do, although doing his job. And Jason agreed with that. I got a chance to revisit how I wanted to be with my wife. That was pretty much, we didn't see her. And my son that I lost, I got a chance to deal with that. I got a chance to wrap up a lot of things for the character that I felt really good about. And but having Paige crying for real, mucus all over the place, that wasn't cool because we were really close, Henry and we were the adults on the show. So it's like you're losing this adult on the show. Like, is he really dead? Or is this gonna be some crazy dream or something or what? I don't know, but I just felt that, with Eliza and Bob and everybody else, they were coming in so strong. Lindsay's characters, and they're older. They're we had that 5-year jump. So they're no longer children. They're no longer teenagers. You know what I mean? So I just really felt like it was good. It was a good time for Jaha to move out the way and let the rest of these younger actors play.
would you guys be open to either a flashback or some type of hallucination?
Yes.
It's sci-fi, man.
It's sci-fi.
You know,
Yeah.
anything is possible.
Totally.
Which characters are you pulling for that
Me.
are still?
Mine. I want to come back.
Yeah, you know, from what I told, they've 125 years in the future. There could be I hear there's a double of me out here somewhere. You know, there's always somebody that can look like Antari 125 years from now. There's someone that looks exactly like you.
Yeah.
You know, 125, 300 years ago. So it's sci-fi. I'm sure it's possible. Yeah, that's what I think deja vu is all about.
Totally.
What would be your most rewarding experience at these conventions, if you could name one?
I mean, it's obviously meeting the fans of the show and getting to hear their story as well. That's my favorite part. Everyone that comes up has, you know, something that they love, something that they want to tell you, and I do take all those stories home with me, and I love getting to know the people that watch us on a personal level. That's my favorite part.
You know, believe it or not, I've been a nerd for a long time, so I love to read, I love storytelling, and that's what I share with all the nerds out here, is that we love great storytelling. And that's the most important. That crosses ethnicity, that crosses political, that crosses all the divides out there. And to see that people actually enjoy coming out to these kind of cons and cosplay for the characters that they love and treasure, that gives them an exit out of the everyday humdrum of reality. That's what I share with them, and I'm happy to be sitting here next to Miss Rand and Fish here to talk about what they want to hear and talk about. So, yeah, that's the rewarding thing to me, is that I get a chance to participate in great storytelling, and it happens to be fun.
Yeah.
Well, you guys do a great job with your fans, and I know, Isaiah, you've used your celebrity for charity. John Glover, who's here, who's on Smallville, he supports the Alzheimer's Association. Rob Paulson from Animaniacs does a lot of great work with cancer.
Awesome.
I'd like to give everybody just a big round of applause for everybody that gives back, you know, and uses their name for good. That really is awesome. It's an important thing to do.
Awesome. Thank you.
Moving forward, what types of stories are you drawn to tell, and what kind of characters would you like to play?
I mean, any kind of storytelling is wonderful. Like Isaiah was saying, like something that can take people out of their reality. I'm a huge fan of television. I just finished watching Sharp Objects, and to be a part of a show that's like that, where while I was watching it, I would turn off the episode and it was all I would think about in my day-to-day life. I would love to be a part of something that like leaves people wanting more and just so completely captivated by the reality that we create within the show.
That was a real modest answer. But isn't she a badass? Come on, give her a round of applause. You know, come on, you know she's hot. I'm already casting her in a graphic novel where I play a former Buffalo soldier, written by, we released it, revealed it at the last San Diego Comic-Con, called Bison. And there's a lot of cool women characters in it, and I'm already saying, right now.
I'm in.
She's in. Where she get to see her shooting, horseback riding, archery, the whole things that she's already accustomed to. So yeah, that's what's next for me. I'm putting all of my energy in the short film. Dylan Park is written. We got some really strong investors coming in to get that done. We're going to shoot it in Oregon in the snow. And that would be like the prequel to actual Bison. Again, that is a three-picture concept that's coming based on a graphic novel by Kevin Grevious, who gave us Underworld. He's big in the comic book world, so look out for that. It's all about Bison for me. Even over at my little booth 11, I got the cover of Skill Set magazine, where I'm dressed up as a Buffalo soldier to really sell that and get that story out there. I really feel that telling how the African Americans and everybody that supported African Americans on both sides of the fence in the open Wild West, it could be a great book into the Black Panther storytelling. So, real life heroes.
And we can see that on your social media, and where else can we?
Man, I've been talking about Bison on Instagram, the real Isaiah Washington, on my Twitter at iWashington. Yeah, so if you see me, running around talking about Buffalo Soldiers all the time, I can't wait for Halloween because I'm gonna dress up as a Buffalo Soldier for Halloween. So it's all about the Buffalo Soldiers right now, and everyone that's.
I'm told that we have some mics in the crowd for questions. Does anyone see a mic? Because I'm looking. All right, right here. Great. All right, state your name and take off.
My name is Mark, and it's my birthday today.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Mark.
Yeah, from a challenge from my friends. Ontario, I love you.
I love you.
I have a question for Mr. Washington.
Uh-huh.
Your character, Jaha, is my most favorite in the show.
Oh, thank you.
Very strong character, very opinionated. But I just want to ask you about your character. Do you think Jaha is a villain or a hero of the show?
There are no good guys or good girls on that show. That's what I love about the show. It's beyond Game of Thrones complexity. You have to decide if there's anything in you that you recognize in that characterization. Because sometimes people are like, well, why do I dislike that person so much? Well, it may be something about you that you see that you dislike about yourself. But what I do like about what Jason was trying to create is that everybody was operating for their people. Everybody was operating for their family. Everybody was trying to do what they thought was the right thing at the time. So you could be the judge on whether that was a good idea or not. That's something that I think should be very personal for each and every person that's watching it. That's one thing I enjoyed the most about the show is that there are no good guys, there are no bad guys. They're just guys and girls doing what they have to do.
Fantastic. We're alternating. Name and question. Let's go quickly.
Oh, I'm Emily, and
Oh, Emily.
yeah. So there are lots of highs and lows in the show and emotional ranges. So do you actually feel those emotions when you're in there? Like are you the character or are you acting?
Well, I think you feel it for sure. And a lot of the stuff, we were kind of talking about the dark elements of the show. And those are things that are very hard to just sort of leave at the office, so to speak. They follow you home because you are really there and you are really feeling those emotions. You're in that moment. It's you, although you're playing a character. So absolutely, they stick with you and you feel those things as if it were happening to you.
Yeah, unless you're chipped.
Unless you're chips, then you're out, yeah.
You're not feeling much.
No.
But as the actor, I'm still getting therapy. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm still getting therapy. It's a good show, but I pride myself on being believable in all the characters, and I don't judge the characters, because I'm not writing them. I'm not walking out here like Jaha. I'm not really, But I think for me, the thing about a character that makes me tick, I've been doing it so long, if it scares me, if it scares me and gives me an opportunity to be somewhere that I've never been before, then I'll go there, for a while, But yeah, that's how I like to walk that tightrope emotionally. But we have to be careful, because we are using our bodies and our emotions are our instrument. So it's like anything else, you have to take care of it after.
Well said. Question here. Name and question.
I just wanted to say that I
There
really
you
love
are.
both of you and both of your characters. And
A little closer.
I wanted to know what both of your experiences were working with Jason.
Working with Jason.
I didn't work with him that much. I mean, as you guys know, I was only on the show for a short period of time. But I loved every minute that I had on the show. And I do always say I would give anything to go back. I really, really loved my time working on The 100.
Yeah, Jason is Jason Rothenberg. I think anybody knows him and follow him on Twitter. He is what he is. He says what he means. He means what he says. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to create something. I mean, where like Star Trek, we created terms like "I'll float you." That really means something. Or I could get on Twitter and put a little power fist in a 100 and everybody knows what that is. And people who don't watch the show is like, why does he sign off on Instagram? He doesn't talk, he just puts a little brown fist in 100. What does that mean? I like inside jokes like that for nerds because we have to empower ourselves, man. And Jason's a nerd. He is one of the biggest ones out there. And he's given us all a platform to have fun with something. that wasn't there before. So I'm grateful for that.
Guys, you've been wonderful. I want to continue these conversations at the booth. Isaiah, what booth are you at?
Booth
11. You're
11.
at I'm at 12.
11.
Yeah.
I'm next
You're at
to Rhiannon, so 11 and 12.
We'll see you guys there.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm at booth 1832 with John Glover from Smallville. If you guys want to say hi, Byron S. Britton on Twitter. Follow these guys. Thanks for coming out
Thank you so much.
for the 100th panel, Saturday LA Comic Con. Thanks, guys, so much.